Well, one thing I like about what they wrote on the package on a Swiss and Smith Wesson knife is professional quality tools. And as I'm showing tools back here, I think of a knife as a tool. Now, this is really what you consider a good everyday beater knife. It's $20, okay? That's what the cost is on Blade Play. I think it was on sale or something. Maybe they're more money than that. But one thing that's an advantage of this thing is I had to look a few times and on a few places. They call this an assisted opener, but it is really not exactly assisted opener. This nub here is the firing mechanism. This is not attached to the blade, so I don't know how the law enforcement would look at this, but the manufacturer calls it assisted opener. Now, this has a safety right here. If you flip this down, you can see there's a red dot. You can see the red dot inside. That means it's ready to fire. Now, in a way, it could be an assisted opener because you can flip it off this nub of the blade. But when you click this on, this is not attached to the blade. That's a firing mechanism. So I thought that was pretty cool in some ways if this is considered an assisted opener, yet maybe it's because the button that fires it is not on the handle. I'm not sure why they call it an assisted opener, but you know, that would be kind of cool if in a state where you can only have an assisted opener and you can't have a push button knife, because they call this an assisted opener. So I don't know 110% what the legality is on states that have laws against push button automatic knives, but for all intents and purposes that's what this is, and maybe that's how they'll deem it, because you know the government is, right? But who the hell knows. The one thing I have to say about this though, I mean, yeah, it's got some marketing stuff on here, Smith & Wesson Black Ops, you know, and it's got a bunch of patent numbers on here, and it says 4034 stainless steel, which is not really good stuff, okay? It's better than 420, but pretty much any stainless steel, unless you're talking at least 440B or preferably 440C, is not really the greatest thing in the world. But let me just say this. These are what I call everyday carry beater knives, and they're cheap, they're good, and I think with this Tanto design, you see how it comes to a point like that, it's beefy. You're not going to really break this too easily. It's pretty thick, and with these kind of beater knives, I just sharpen them with this, the pull-through knife sharpener, because I mean, they do hold an edge okay. I mean, they're not like the best in the world, but they do hold an edge okay. But, you know, this is the type of knife you'd be using with your mechanic stuff. Maybe you're scraping off some gasket material, or you're scraping off an electric contact, or you're stripping some insulation off of wires. Good mechanic knife. It's a liner lock, but let me say this. Okay, it's not made in the United States, okay? We know that. Good for $20, not made in the United States. But it's not made in China either. It's made in Taiwan. Taiwan usually has quite a bit better quality than China, and with the Smith & Wesson name, with all the patents, it's a deal. It's a deal. This is an aluminum handle, even though you think with all this sculptedness in this handle, it's resin. It's aluminum. Okay, so it's a strong handle. It's got 3 screws on a pocket clip, which are going into aluminum, so it should be pretty good. The liner lock engages smack right in the middle. I've seen a lot of these knives, they don't do that in the middle, and I'm always afraid that, you know, it could snap back on your fingers. This engages very solidly and disengages very easily. This thing fires like exactly like a switchblade. Well, they're calling it, and like I don't know what the state would do in your state, but the manufacturer is calling this an assisted opener versus an automatic knife. That's hopefully the way the state laws will take that, you know. The other thing is, it has this on the back of the blade, which is good. So you got your finger grips here, right? This is a great mechanic knife. I think a lot of these knives, some of them, I mean, that's $20. I've seen some for $7 that are pretty damn good mechanic knives, but this one seems pretty damn solid, man. It's light, and it seems solid, and it's like, I guess the buzzword is ergonomic. It feels like it fits in your hand really good. You know, you can have it, your thumb over the blade like this if you're cutting something, which is because it's got these, it's like for the finger, put the fingers on. If you put it on safe like that, you can't close it even with the liner lock. You got to take it off of safe to close it. Okay, and in a way that's not bad, because you got to remember to put it on safe. I don't think this thing really fires. Well, I guess it could. This fires a lot easier than an automatic, than a regular assisted opener. There's hardly any pressure you got to stick on this. I didn't put any oil on this or just anything or screws or nothing. It just works great. It works just like an automatic knife. It's pretty damn beefy. The Tanto blade design is, to me, this is pretty damn strong. And the other thing is, that's a more practical design. I know the stiletto, you can get in trouble in some places because you have a stiletto blade, and I got nothing against stiletto blades at all. Sometimes they come in handy because they're thinner, if you're cutting something. Now this is like, and sometimes a stiletto blade fits into something where you're turning it around like that, like the battery terminals. Works pretty good, which is good for these beater knives, But on the other side of this is, it's more states would find this legal because it doesn't have a stiletto blade. Maybe a serrated edge might be a problem. I tell you the truth, I think every damn state ought to throw out all their damn bullshit laws on serrated edges, because these are not more lethal. This is a tool just like this is a tool. Just like this blade cuts better on a smooth edge on certain materials, and this one cuts much better on other materials, and vice versa. Just like, I'm not going to use this little socket when I need this socket. But these pinheads in the government, they're just somebody that got it collect a check, and they theorize all these laws, and they talk with cute $500 words. I really hate them, man. I tell you the truth, I do. I can't stand them, man. Government's freaking bullshit. Most of these people in government are a bunch of lying weasels that won the debating club in high school, which actually I did quite well on that too, but I'm not a weasel. I actually did very well on Toastmasters and speaking impromptu. But I do like this. Okay, so here you go. To me, made in Taiwan is quite a bit better than made in China. Okay? And, it seems that way. It seems that way. From the way this locks up, there is not a bit of play in it, not even the slightest, which I don't give a shit even if it did. The liner lock hits right smack in the middle. Some people don't like liner locks, but this liner lock is definitely not going to fail, being right smack in the middle and being tight yet engaging very easily. Like if I do this, just real slow, it engages 100%. They made this with a lot of precision, and that's the Taiwanese quality versus the Chinese quality. And again, you got, in this fashion, when you're using a nub on the blade here, that's an assisted opener. Now, they still call this an assisted opener even though you're using this mechanism, but I guess maybe because the mechanism is attached to the knife blade somehow. That's a patent they got. It's not a button on the handle. They're not calling this an automatic knife, a full automatic knife, like a switchblade. So, to me, that's a major, major, major plus. And of course, you got the lanyard hole, and it's going through an aluminum body, so I don't think that'll break too easily. Plus, you got a little bit of grippy surfaces here, so if you're holding it in your hand, it's not going to slip as easily. To me, You know, I've been looking around at the best deals, and I'm just passing on what I think are the best deals. And nobody's, I got this off of Blade Play. Sometimes I get them off of Bud K, and I kind of ran out of knives to get off of freaking Bud K because I pretty much got. They're not all good. Actually, some of them I think are real good values, and some of them aren't. But Blade Play had this on sale, so $20, and if you buy $50 worth of knives, you get the free shipping. Then there's no sales tax because it's coming out from out of state. It's coming from Utah, and like I said, you know, this knife is okay. The safety's on. It's kind of easy to remember that the safety is right here. It's where your hand is anyway. It's easy enough to sharpen these lower quality steels, which aren't really that bad actually, with a pull through sharpener like this, and this is the one that's designed for doing the serrated edges too. It has the you know, the little thing here that'll do your serrated edges, and it has the ceramic for the serrated edges, which I don't really give a damn about that. The diamond taper is for your serrated edge. And I usually just use the carbide on this. It's like a little, you know, it's a little freaking $7 sharpener that could probably sharpen your blade a bunch of times. It will. I've had some of these for many years. And it's perfect for the everyday beater knife. You know? So, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. So, and like I said, man, I think this exchange rate, like these Armstrong tools are made in the USA, right? You see, that's made in the USA. I got some knives made in the USA. I got some other tools made in the USA. I got a welder made in the USA. I don't buy all USA because I want some cheap stuff that I would not be afraid of losing or abusing. And I don't want to break this knife on purpose, but I don't think it would break that easy, because it's fairly thick, and when you're coming down to the end of the blade here, it's a Tanto style. That's pretty thick too right here, so you know, and it gets dull relatively quick, but they don't get dull that quick. Just use, you know, a cheap pull through. I mean, you're not gonna freaking stand there all day with a Japanese Waterstone freaking getting a blade like this the best you can, but you know, it's a good everyday beater knife, man. Not bad for the money. That's the whole key. And again, the quality on the made in Taiwan stuff is a lot better than the Chinese stuff. I can tell the difference, the way that blade locks up, the way it operates, and the way it feels in hands. And I'm not really certain what all these patents are, but there's listing 4 patents on here that are from Smith Wesson. So this knife's got some pretty good features you probably won't find in other knives. So for $20, it's definitely good to go.